I didn't know what to tell her. I couldn't sleep anymore. Then it happened to me. I caught sight of a girl who was exactly like Halena entering the kitchen. I went after her, asked her something, and she simply smiled, oddly, and continued stirring a spoon in an empty mug. No water, no tea, just stirring air. I turned around to pick up my phone. She was nowhere to be seen.
You are listening to the Fearcast. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill.
Only 1 month married. Halena and I had agreed to go slow, not due to pressure or belief, but because it just seemed right. We are figuring out how to share space, how to respect each other's boundaries. Everything was new and breakable. We snuggled, we held hands, we whispered secrets at midnight, but we hadn't gone beyond actual physical intimacy. So when Halena informed me that she was pregnant, it was like a slow-motion car crash. But I looked at her, my mouth agape. She was white and emotionless. Say something, she whispered. But what was there to say? I have not touched her in that manner, not even once, and at the back of my mind, I knew that she was not lying, which made it all the more terrible. It began slowly. Certain evenings I'd return home, and Halena would be off. Her stance was altered. Her smiles appeared too late, as if responding to memories rather than moments happening. She addressed me by names we never employed, giggled at jokes I hadn't told, but then the mirror reversed. She started saying that I was behaving strangely. You hummed this eerie song again last night, she stated once, furrowing her brows. You just stood there, beside the bed, not a word. The hairs on my arms rose. That wasn't me, I told her. She looked at me silently, and for a moment I saw the same fear that I felt. Something was amiss in our house, and it wore our faces. Soon Halena admitted that she would wake up in the dead of night to find me standing in the corner of the room, perfectly motionless. You didn't say a word, she breathed. You just stared. But I hadn't even been home the night she described. One time, she said I touched her hand, but it felt like ice, and her fingers went numb. I didn't know what to tell her. I couldn't sleep anymore. Then it happened to me. I caught sight of a girl who was exactly like Halena entering the kitchen. I went after her, asked her something, and she simply smiled, oddly, and continued stirring a spoon in an empty mug. No water, no tea, just stirring air. I turned around to pick up my phone, and when I turned back around, she was nowhere to be seen. The actual Halena was sleeping in bed. That evening I sat in the hallway, holding a kitchen knife, waiting for something that did not arrive. I put up concealed cameras. I didn't inform her. I wanted proof that I wasn't crazy. The recordings indicated what I suspected. At precisely 3:12 a.m., someone walked by the camera. Me, my face, my attire, my right foot limp, but the look was vacant. It halted at the bedroom door and remained still. And then, after a silence of minutes, it turned and regarded the lens with direct attention. It gazed with eyes that didn't blink. She walked to the bathroom and vomited. She hadn't watched the second video, the one in which someone, resembling herself, crawled backward across the living room floor, head distorted at a grotesque angle, disappearing beneath the couch. We attempted to be normal. We left the lights on. We began sleeping in rotations. I spent one night awake with all the doors locked, just observing. At 3:09 a.m., electricity went out. I heard halting footsteps in the corridor, naked feet smacking the wood floor. Then the door creaked open, and Halena stepped inside, or someone in her skin. She was dripping with water, her hair stuck to her face. She had a broad, quivering grin, and eyes rolled back in her head. He's almost here, she breathed in a voice that reverberated, like a pile of several voices. Gate of the child. She then attacked me, not to harm, but to whisper something in my ear. It wasn't any language I recognized, but as soon as she spoke, the room chilled, and all of the light bulbs in the house blew simultaneously. We visited a private physician to verify the pregnancy timeline. The ultrasound indicated a fetus much further along than we had anticipated. 12 to 14 weeks. Halena hadn't even skipped 2 periods yet. The doctor inquired if we were certain about the dates. She merely nodded slowly, shuddering. That evening she recounted everything to me. The nightmare she'd been having since our first week in the apartment. The nights in which she woke up immobile, seeing me leaning over her. humming an odd tune. The stench of damp soil, the manner in which her body moved independently, as if something was taking her over. I think he's using my body, she breathed. I think he's the father. I didn't want to know who he was. I already knew. So did she. And then everything went off the rails. The walls creaked in the nighttime, as if the building were breathing. The mirrors at home would sometimes flicker, displaying not our images, but rooms that didn't exist in life. An old bedroom with a hangman's noose, a hallway with shifting shadows, a hospital corridor lined with static. I once walked past the guest bathroom and saw my own face in the mirror, except it blinked 2 whole seconds behind me. I tore that mirror from the wall and shattered it in the garbage. Halena quit sleeping. She would sit by the window each night, looking out across the street, where a man with my hoodie would stand for hours, watching our apartment not moving. We moved the bed into the living room, but that didn't help. No area of the apartment was safe anymore. One evening, she was gone. The windows were secured. The door hadn't been open, no struggle, but her side of the bed was moist and chilly. The blanket bunched like a snake had crawled out from under it. I combed the building. I phoned hospitals. Nothing. Only her wedding band remained on the floor of the hallway, deposited neatly in the dead center of a wet footprint. I began noticing more of them after that. Halena copies, in stairwells, in mirrors, even once on a passing bus, blankly staring at me through the steamy window. Every one of them disappeared before I could say anything. And they were doubling up, they came in twos. They stared silently. I attempted to flee the city, but when I got onto the highway, my engine failed, and I caught sight of a figure huddled in the back seat. It had no face. Smooth skin stretched across where the features would have been. Now I don't go anywhere near my apartment. I've covered every mirror, every night. At 3:12 a.m., I hear knocking. Sometimes there's one knock, sometimes there's 3. Sometimes I hear breathing. They never break in. They don't have to, because they've already got all the rest. I woke up to a baby crying last week. In the kitchen, I had no children, but I went anyway. There on the table was a child swathed in Helena's wedding veil. Its face was blank. Its mouth did not move, but the crying would not cease. It stared back at me, and for an instant its eyes were my own. I did not shriek. I merely took it up and breathed softly. I know who you are, and the wailing ceased at once.